Hey guys, it's Tanya from Tinkering and Ink with Tanya, and today we're going to make this card. We are going to use the embossing paste. Woohoo! New stuff, love it, and it does feature a lot of the new in colors. Let's get started. So we're going to start with a piece of thick Whisper White taped down to a board. I imagine you wouldn't have to tape it down, but I did. And then I'm going to put one of these new Party Patterns stencils down, and I'm going to tape it down also. And this piece is bigger than I'm going to need in the end. Here's the embossing paste. Look how awesome is that. And one of the palette knives. And I'm just going to slap it on there. And you're wondering how I got it green. Well, that's coming. I'll show you that shortly. So I'm just going to smear this on. Try to keep it relatively even. And we're going to leave this on paper yet, the stencil, this being the stencil. And this paste dries pretty fast. You don't want your jar to be open for very long. You also don't want to leave your equipment dirty, or you could have a mess. And then I took a Stampin' Spritzer and I filled it to about here with water. And then I added 10 drops of lemon lime re-inker. And I got a spritz. Now, this makes a sprayed mess. Normally I stick it in a cardboard box. Right now I'm going to make sure there's nothing I don't want sprayed on my surface. And I am going about 8 inches away, and I'm just spritzing this on the stencil. Okay. And I don't want it seeping under. Look at that. Okay, apparently I still had a little pink left on my stencil. How awesome is that? Instant color. And you didn't have to knead it in, because you can do that. You can add re-inker to the embossing paste and knead the color in and then have like a frosting thing. But for me, this gives you some variation in the tone of the color, and you don't waste any embossing paste because whatever's left goes right back in the container. And there's a lot of other cool things you can do with that spritz. So we're going to set this aside to dry, and it takes about 10 minutes, and I'm going to pause the video while it dries. Well, yep, I'm going to pause the video, and we'll come back to it. While that's drying, actually, we're going to go on to some other pieces of this particular card. We're going to do something with the solid stamp in Just Add Text. It's got a lot of really cool sayings, but we're going to take this big solid stamp and we're going to do some sponge stamping on it. I know I've done a lot of that in the past. That's because it's such an awesome technique. You can get so many looks with this. Alright, so I'm going to take a scrap of Whisper White, and this is Whisper White. It's not the thick Whisper White. It just happens to be the scrap I had on hand. And we're going to take Powder Pink, Flirty Flamingo, and Berry Burst, and we're going to sponge, well, we're going to ink up first with the Powder Pink. Got that good and inky. Then we're going to take, oh, I grabbed the wrong sponge. I need Flirty Flamingo, and I grabbed Sweet Sugar Plum. Let's grab the Flirty Flamingo. Got the right sponge now. Alright, then I'm just going to sponge on and some Berry Burst. I am loving this pinky purpley color. It's pretty awesome, I have to say. And I'm breathing on it. And look at that. Instant watercolor look without the effort. I know there's a lot of people who find watercoloring intimidating. I find it liberating. But we all craft in our own way, and I think our comfort level comes with practice. Can't be afraid to keep going. All right, so now for these, I used the Flourish dies. Sometimes we forget what we've had around forever, but these Flourish dies are awesome. Lots of fine details, big variety of things you can do, and then of course I use this endlessly, the Stitched Shapes dies, but we're going to use an oval from that. This is the second from largest oval die. I did have to pause and quick clean off my stencils so that the embossing paste didn't become permanent on that. That is something you don't want to happen. So I have the magnetic platform and a very loved cutting plate here. So I'm going to line that up. Let's put it so it's right side up so we all can see if it's straight. There we go. Look how nice that fits in there. And we'll crank that through. There's that element. We'll set that aside and grab the other colors that we're going to do. We're going to need a couple of green. This is Lemon Lime Twist, this is Powder Pink, and this is the Berry Burst. We're going to take 3 dies from Flourish. Love those. And we're going to need 2 greens, a Berry Burst, no, Powder Pink, and Berry Burst. Whoa! Dropping stuff again. Oh my goodness. Okay, I had to pause again while I was finding my die. It fell into the bottom drawer of my cupboard here. My, what do you call these? Buffet? I found this awesome buffet that I use as my stamping area. It's got space for everything. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find a efficient way to load all this on the pad at once. We'll do these 2. You know what? I want my precision plate. Let's switch that out. Boy, I shouldn't have let those land on the magnetic platform all by themselves. Alright, precision plate, paper, die, okay, and then a cutting plate, and away we go. Come back through one more time, just make sure it's got good complete cuts. And we're all kitty-wumpus. Okay. And I'm going to set this aside and we'll switch the Berry Burst on. I'll stick that right there. And this I will have to do this too quick. Love the die brush. In the new catalog, there's a new configuration. We are not making it go away completely. It's going to have 2 foam pads and 1 of these on the new configuration, so you'll still be able to get it. As long as I'm messing with this one, let's just get it all the way done. Okay. And lay this die on here again. Make sure that's all going to get die cut. I'm not too worried about the stem part of the leaves because that gets trimmed anyway. It's behind the oval. Okay, die cutting done. Pops right out. Pretty clean. As you can see, I'm terribly careful. Oh, I just knocked my pink one on the floor. Had to go rescue that from underneath the buffet. Man, I'm kind of Butterfingers today. Do you ever have days like that where you just keep dropping things? All right. Knock the rest of those out. I guess you really wouldn't have to. They look kind of cool in there anyway, but now if I hadn't used the precision plate, these would not fall out so easily. All right, shake that off in the trash. Okay. So there's our pieces. I managed to not lose any of my dies. Let's figure out our configuration here. So on my original card, I had put the dimensionals on the back of this oval before I decided I wanted these behind it. That turned into kind of a mistake because now I have a lumpy bumpy where I didn't plan on having a lumpy bumpy. All right, just fiddle with that until you're happy with the configuration. And then I stapled these together. And I'm going to trim off the bottom extras because these are not going to be showing. I'm going to trim off the bottom of this too because I might want to use those 2 leaves somewhere else. So I'll just hang on to those. And these are all going to slip behind the oval. Use a little fast fuse to stick it to, or you could use tear and tape. That might be a better option. Uh-oh. I pulled my fast fuse off track. Okay. I think that's how I want this. Stuck. It's stuck on there. And we'll do it like that for that piece. Almost stuck it to my work surface. Now, the smart way to do this is to put dimensionals on after you have all your other lumpy bumpies on. We're going to be generous with these because do not like saggy cards, do we? I could have... Yep, right there. That looks good. Okay. Then it's time to go see if our embossing powder is dry. Yep, it's dry. How awesome. Okay, we'll peel this off. And I'm going to trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5. And then I'm going to stitch around the edge and I'll be right back. And for the inside of the card, oh, here's the stitched panel. I was a little concerned that stitching would be a problem, but it's not. It goes right over it, doesn't destroy the embossing paste at all. Works fantastic. Okay, so this is our thick Whisper White card base. I've already scored it at 4 1/4. Crease that good. And my husband pointed out this would be an awesome Mother's Day card. I appreciate everything you do. Make it say Happy Mother's Day on the inside. The only Mother's Day sentiment I could find was the Oh So Succulent. That's current anyway. This one uses the Flourishing Phrases, I believe it is. I'll have a complete list of the supplies, a clickable list in the bottom of the YouTube description, and I'll also have it on my blog. So be sure to check that. That'll have the accurate list. And this is what I stamped in the first one. This time I think we're going to use the Oh So Succulent stamp that says Happy Mother's Day on the inside. And maybe you can come up with some other options for that. So let's use a little berry burst to stamp Happy Mother's Day. In there. And then we'll get to adhering everything on the card. More fast fuse. I pull the tails to the back of the card when I do stitching on my cards. And this is definitely the front. So we'll center this on here. I just really love a white card base. And I'm not bothered by these little pink flecks in there. I think they add some character. So we've got to pull all these little dimensional backs off quick. I know one came off when I was putting them on. Get out of there. There. And we'll find a good spot to put those on the card. You know, this would work this way too. But I already stamped the sentiment on the inside, but that would be pretty too. I really like that. Or right in the middle. Gosh, look at that. Too bad I already put the sentiment on the inside. Okay, so maybe you want to go this way. Maybe you want to go over here. Maybe you want to go down here. There's all kinds of great spots that this would work. We're just going to go right about there. Try to keep the lettering straight. All right. And that is the completed card. See how there's different variation in the intensity of the green? This I must have had some other pink on my... Yeah, I must not have been cleaning my stencils as well as I thought. Anyway, these are complete and actually were not that long to create. Be sure to stop by my blog for the clickable link and come back for more. Thank you. Bye.